This is the New American Media.
Live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the New American Media. Welcome to Agree to Disagree. Pretty fun day. Did you catch the Obama news conference? Oh, that was a beauty. Oh, it was a beauty, all right. We're going to talk about it. We being myself, I'm Brian Engelman. Hello, welcome. And our special guest on Agree to Disagree today, that would be Blake the Eccentric Walley. We'll introduce Blake in just a moment, but real quick, just want to let you know, please do us a favor and connect with us in all of the mediums. We do radio about once a week, and occasionally we do guerrilla radio, so if there's a really crazy, interesting story, we'll bring something up throughout the middle of the week, but mainly once a week. But we're always on Twitter, we're always on Facebook, our homepage, so I'm going to give you those places. Check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. Do us a favor, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. I don't know where we're at, 106,000 views or something, pretty neat. There's a whole bunch of stuff over there. Music, interviews, politics, a whole bunch of stuff. Just check that out. Search us on Facebook, The New American Media, and like our page. And on Twitter, we're at American_media_. And then follow us, because we tweet a whole bunch of stuff. Some of the things we've tweeted recently have come from Blake Walley. Blake is joining us today on the program. He's a radio host over on freedomizerradio.com. You can hear him every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific. And follow him on Twitter. He's at Eccentric99. Blake, welcome to the program. How you doing today, sir?
Doing excellent, Brian. Thank you for having me.
Hey, good to be here. I mean, good to have you here, and it's good for me to be here with you on the program as usual. And, I mean, there's so much going on with the Obama press conference. I had to call you in the middle of it. I'm like, Blake, are you watching this? Can you believe the stuff that's spewing out of this? Can you believe this? So thank you for that. And
I'm glad you got to watch it and tip me off on that. I'm surprised I didn't, because I didn't catch much of it. But I'm sure it's not a whole lot different than most of the other speeches he does or any other press conferences that he has. But I'm curious to get your take on that.
Where do we begin? Let's see.
You can take everything he said to the bank, I'm sure. It's all.
Trade all of his words that are good as gold, strong as oak, in Jerry Maguire. My word is strong as oak. Yeah, take him to the bank and trade him for Federal Reserve notes, I'm sure. That sounds like a great bet, a great deal. Let's see, just a few quick notes on this press conference. Skeptical when he's talking about how if Michelle were skeptical of me doing the dishes, and I don't do the dishes very much here in the White House. Anyway, I'm going to stop my Obama voice. But anyway, he's relaying and referring to the NSA spying. This isn't a scandal. This isn't also a phony scandal, Blake. This is impeachable crap. There's really no way around it. Richard Nixon was thrown out of office, removed because he tapped his opponents at the Watergate, tapped a little hotel room. This guy's tapping everybody on the planet, and he's still just yucking it up in his first press conference since April, comparing it to, well, if Michelle's skeptical, maybe she'd come in and take a look that I did the dishes. This has nothing to do with dishes.
You're doing pretty good Obama there.
Well, I'd say I'm working on it, but I really don't even want to. Thank you. But this is not comparable, Blake, to doing the dishes and people being skeptical that I did the dishes. I got to stop talking because I'm.
All right.
What are your thoughts
here? What I'll say on that. I've made those. A lot of people are making those comparisons, Obama to Nixon and all that stuff, and I've kind of been saying that Obama's way worse than Nixon. Nixon, Obama makes Nixon look like an angel, but I'm going to take that back. I'm going to say that they are just equally as they're kind of like they're opposite and they're the same. And I think if Nixon was still around, if he was in our era right now, with access to the NSA, or especially with with J. Edgar Hoover still hanging around, I'm sure it would have just been every bit as bad. So I mean, they are both equally like two of the worst administrations ever.
I mean, could you imagine Stalin, Hitler? Think of all the bad people in history. Think of those that have killed tens of millions of folks across the country or across the world in the past several hundred years, and go back thousands of years. I mean, it's
like 260 million that have died from I forget what the name of it is something. Killed by their own government. I can't remember the name of it. It's not genocide. It's something else. There's a name for it. It escapes me at the moment. But yes, whether it's Pol Pot or some of these other crazy leaders, yeah, it's nasty stuff. So yeah, imagine with the kind of spy network that we have now, and they're not going to abuse it. Yeah.
Would that be democide?
Democide. Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Sure thing.
You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir.
You are correct, sir. Anyway, so let's break down some of the stuff that that our president, our dear leader, had to say.
Well, I found a pretty good quote here by somebody that everybody should be following on Twitter, and that's Lefty Bollocks, who said, according to President Obama, "We will have oversight of these programs by secret courts and unnamed bureaucrats. That's called transparency, people."
Wow.
That's sarcasm.
Sorry, we couldn't.
Funny one.
Radio doesn't translate so well when you have the air quotes. You didn't see me
Right.
doing the air quotes. I am not a crook. Just kidding. Anyway, no,
That's a joke.
I got.
Go ahead.
I have a few quotes that I have here. I'm going to pause on some of our president's comments because he got into a lot of stuff. He finally addressed, since April, all these phony scandals, apparently, or at least some of them, at least to some extent. I'm not going to touch healthcare for a moment, but President Obama said American people need to have confidence in the surveillance programs. Blake, do you have confidence as an American people in the surveillance program? Do you have confidence as an American people?
I'm going to say, since I don't know, then I really can't answer that because I don't know the full extent of it, which is part of the problem. And yes, they are engaged in secret courts, and just like Lefty Bollock says, secret courts, unnamed bureaucrats, and I can even pull up a Judge Napolitano article from this week pretty much saying the exact same thing without the sarcasm. Yeah, something is afoul, and that's one of the talking points. Because I think they were, here's a good one, I have to say. This is from Glenn Greenwald, of course. Is the
he just hates America, Blake. He just hates America. Stop it. You can't trust any news you get from Russia Today, Al Jazeera, Glenn Greenwald. They just...
The Guardian.
Those
yes.
people, they just hate America.
Right.
You can't listen.
Well, apparently Obama was making a claim. Let's see here. He said, "We were right on the verge of launching a really great open debate on secret surveillance when Snowden went and did this." If Edward Snowden would have waited just like one more week, he could be sitting in Hawaii with his girlfriend still and going, "Oh, okay, well, look, thank God I don't have to go to Hong Kong and report all this."
Michelle, now understand, I was just on the verge of getting ready to do those dishes. You just should have given me a little bit more time. And by the way, they're Bush's fault. It's Bush's fault in this do-nothing Congress.
Of course.
We were on the verge. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I was on the... No. I was seriously going to do that. You just caught me at the wrong time. Come on, guys. Seriously.
Yep, Obama and James Clapper and General Alexander will be like, "Man, we gotta stop this surveillance thing. Let's be honest with the people and tell them what's going on. I think that we all need to have an open conversation about this so it doesn't get out of control." Right. So what else is Glenn Greenwald said? Obama's claim that the debate would have happened absent Snowden's revelations is laughable, and he shares a link even from a Washington Post article.
Well, okay.
It won't pull up, but
Well, tweet it out. Tweet that stuff out. By the way, follow Blake.
I already retweeted it, yeah.
He's at eccentric99. I mean, very few people that I know follow the news in the way that Blake does. So that's why you got to link up with us on Twitter. I'm over. Let me hit reset there because it's not. The New American Media is on Twitter at American_media_. And Blake is at eccentric99. Make sure you follow those. But let's remember who this president is, who was on the verge of letting us know. Let's just remind you of this little quote for a second, if you will.
We, the people, chose to do these things together because we know this country cannot accomplish great things if we pursue nothing greater than our own individual ambition. Unfortunately, you've grown up hearing voices that incessantly warn of government as nothing more than some separate, sinister entity that's at the root of all our problems. Some of these same voices also do their best to gum up the works. They'll warn that tyranny is always lurking just around the corner. You should reject these voices.
You should reject Edward Snowden's voice. You should not pay attention. These are not the drones you're looking for. You should not pay attention to the pink elephant in the room or the 800-pound gorilla or whatever phrase you want. Blake, this is tyranny. this massive surveillance state, if any of the bad people in recent history in the past few hundred years had the capability to understand who every one of your contacts were, have precise GPS coordinates to where all of your family and significant others were, to know point by point what time you get up for work, what time you take a shower. All of this data is available if you want to snoop, and if you want to target somebody. It has never been easier to target your political opponents and destroy them. Look at the IRS. Blake, this president, he also said, I don't think Mr. Snowden was a patriot. Let's go with that one. Do you agree or disagree? Do you think that Mr. Snowden was a patriot? Because Barack Obama, our president, does not think that Mr. Snowden was a patriot. And there's a lot of neoconservative voices that are starting to come out and echo these comments, and it almost seems like maybe their producers are putting something in their ear where they're changing their tone a little bit. What are your thoughts? Do you agree or disagree?
I don't know how that works. I would say that I would definitely agree with Snowden and disagree strongly with our dear leader.
Okay, and for what reason? Because I'm hearing it left and right. I mean, I wanted to get Hugh Hewitt on the program. He's one of the best radio hosts that I've heard come around in a while. And he's been around for a little bit. But he has neoconservative tendencies, and he's worked in administrations before, and he just flat out unequivocally called Edward Snowden a traitor. Now there are some components of some of the information that, I don't know the full story, but at least on the point of releasing to the world that everyone is being spied on. I think that is the most patriotic thing imaginable, and throwing his entire life away in the process. And people like Hugh Hewitt are saying, well, if you were truly a patriot, you would have stayed around and dealt with the consequences. Really, I would beg to differ on that.
Yeah, that is one of the most insane talking points that I've been hearing over the last week or so. Is about that. We'll dig into it. But, where do I start with this one, Brian? I'm going in a few different directions here. I'm just hitting a wall here.
No. We can do. Tell me about some of the voices that you've been noticing out there that are maybe changing their tune, that are strongly starting to agree with this president that Mr. Snowden was not a patriot, he is a traitor, and he should be punished severely. Who are some of the voices? I don't get the whole traitor thing. The government was engaged in absolutely criminal activity, spying on everybody and everything with no oversight, no Fourth Amendment whatsoever, a complete violation of everything that this country stands for, engaged in all kinds of stuff overseas, everything. They're looking at everything. X-Key score is a bombshell, and the PRISM program, all this stuff. And, we didn't know about any of this stuff until Edward Snowden
literally, yes, like as you said, threw his life away. He had a great job working for the NSA or a contractor out in Hawaii, beautiful girlfriend, and now he's living in Russia. And despite all of that, despite that he's blowing the whistle and exposing all of this criminal activity, you actually have people out there calling him a traitor, and then they're actually getting on his case for staying in Russia like that was his choice or something, like he was just stuck at the Switzerland airport,
or like he was a Russian agent, or like he was a Russian agent, like a dual spy, somebody who infiltrated, like when the Chinese were stealing the secrets out in New Mexico, with in the Clinton administration. I mean, the cloak and dagger kind of stuff that you expect in true espionage, where no, this guy he has it out for America. He's been. It just doesn't make sense. By the way, X-Keyscore, I just want to let people know, it's a formerly secret computer system used by the United States NSA. I call it the National Spy Agency, National Security Agency, for searching and analyzing internet data about foreign nationals across the world. I just don't understand. Oh, you should stay and face the music. Why? If this government is going to these extremes, the Fourth Amendment is pretty doggone clear about what is reasonable and what is not reasonable, and this is completely unreasonable. And if you can't,
players at the end, go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to frame this right, because this is not ambiguous. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Really? I mean, they said persons, they said houses, they said papers, they said effects. They meant every damn thing about your life. That includes computers, people. And this is cut and dry. This is not ambiguous. I don't care I don't care what law school you went to try to subvert the Constitution. This is crystal clear that you are not to spy through the windows, listen to the conversations, and read the words of anybody, unless you have a warrant specifically designating by oath or affirmation why this person you think is guilty and why you feel the need to gather more information to build a case against him. Not to build a case potentially against every single American in this country, Blake. Am I out of line?
No, not at all. This is it's unprecedented. It's amazing that they've done this stuff, and no one is safe. They can use this whole war on terror and national security as an excuse to do whatever they want, and that should be alarming for everybody. It's one thing to to try to look for foreign terrorists and dig up a little intelligence on some maybe crazy people that want to do harm to us, but it's another thing altogether when they're just looking. You don't know exactly who's going, what they can do and where the oversight is. So, and who they deem a terrorist. That's the other thing. So then we can dovetail that. Look at Bradley Manning, who was releasing a bunch of basically war crimes and embarrassed the government. He gets 130 years, and he's being tortured every day. And when then people get out there, and then just to tie back into what we were saying is, and how do they sit there and say, oh, Snowden should stay in America and face the music? Like, in light of Bradley Manning, after what they've done to him, after what they've done to all the other whistleblowers, he's supposed to come here. And then you have the other talking point, like, now that he's over in Russia, like he had much of a choice, because at first Obama said, oh, I don't care about some 29-year-old hacker. But then he ends up getting stuck at the airport in Russia. America won't let him go anywhere, even though they said they didn't care. He gets asylum granted from only a few countries, mostly because the United States is going to retaliate against any country that he goes to. They won't let him go anywhere, so he's ultimately forced to stick it out in Russia. And they're acting like he had 100 different options. It could go anywhere he wanted, and he chose Russia. Like, what, are you kidding me? I mean, that would have been a bombshell thing. Like, oh, he's at the Switzerland airport. I wonder which of these 100 different countries he's going to go. Oh, he went to Russia. Really? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But the thing is that he had nowhere else to go, and they took him in, and now it's really caused a big of a public, PR nightmare for Obama, because now he's canceling his little meeting with Putin. And really embarrassed Obama, but he had it coming. So he said he didn't care about a 29-year-old hacker. Well, now it's really hurting those tensions now. But pretty crazy stuff, crazy stories, and I don't know where else to add.
Well, let me ask you. Am I the only one? and for for the listeners, please leave a comment or send us a tweet. Let me know. Am I the only one that had this vision of Edward Snowden at the Russian airport? Have you seen Ocean's 11, where they put the little guy inside of that little container, and then he pops out? He's this little contortionist, and he pops out, and so they actually wheel him around and they sneak him in there. Did you have the visual of Edward Snowden being enclosed in some little rolling rack case and being snuck out or rolled as cargo onto an airplane like I did? Is it just me?
I did not, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was on one of those planes and then he got turned around. I'm not really sure how that goes out, but yeah, that would have been,
I just have this visual. Yeah, I just have this visual of him trying to get around that way.
Might be a little too tall for that. It's hard to tell his exact dimensions, but
well, hey, let's talking a little too tall. Let's hear a little bit more of the tall tales from our dear president, specifically about the NSA. We have so much to talk about, but I gotta hammer this point home. So here, just a few more of his words.
And must be more transparent. So I've directed the intelligence community to make public as much information about these programs as possible. We've already declassified unprecedented information about the NSA, but we can go further. So at my direction, the Department of Justice will make...
Oh, good. The Department of Justice is on the case, Blake. Good.
Oh, thank God. Eric Holder, he's going to get the job done. Not him.
Between Fast and Furious and Benghazi and not prosecuting the Black Panthers outside of Philadelphia in 2009 and using funds to go rile people up down in Florida with the Zimmerman case, the Second Amendment case. No, this is beautiful. This is okay. Well, hang on. I just wanted to make sure we were talking about the same Justice Department that I was thinking about. Anyway, back to him.
So in my direction, the Department of Justice will make public the legal rationale for the government's collection activities under Section 215 of the Patriot Act.
Good. Now we're invoking the Patriot Act.
I love the Patriot Act. Yeah.
Okay, Holder and
That's such a popular document.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. Okay, so Holder and the Patriot Act are going to fix things. Here we go.
First, I will work with Congress to pursue appropriate reforms to Section 215 of the Patriot Act, the program that collects telephone records. I think the latest episode is just one more in a number of emerging differences that we've seen over the last several months around Syria, around human rights issues, where it is probably appropriate for us to take a pause, reassess where it is that Russia's going, what our core interests are, and calibrate the relationship so that we're doing things that are good for the United States.
Well, whatever. Okay, a few more of my favorite talking points, and then I do want to bounce to another issue. From President Obama, America is not interested on spying on ordinary people, Blake. America is not interested in spying on ordinary people, but we will target those that disagree with our politics, a.k.a. the IRS versus the Tea Party. So, no, we're not interested in spying on ordinary Americans, just those that oppose us, because those are our enemies. Am I connecting dots that are dissimilar with those?
No, I think you're pretty close to and we're still haven't really had a new development with the IRS thing in a bit, but still got a lot of good story to come out of that yet.
Okay, let me just tear through the rest of my highlights, and I do want to bounce to another story. the president was talking about the NSA, and he was talking about people being concerned about things that might take place in a future administration. No, because we're not concerned about your administration doing it. No, we're just concerned about what if the Republicans had this power again. No. The one good thing that came from this election in 2012 is that the neocons did not go back to sleep and think that their boy Mitt Romney is going to fix everything, because this isn't a Democrat or Republican issue. It's a big government data collection issue. President said, I am comfortable that the program currently is not being abused. Okay. That was fantastic. He said, maybe we could embed technologies in them that prevent the snooping regardless of what government wants to do. Let me repeat that. Maybe we could embed technologies in the programs to prevent snooping regardless of what government wants to do. I'm waiting for the free market version of somebody that can do the opposite of what, the telephone companies and the internet providers are currently doing, which is allowing all of the snooping. But anyway, the president said I have a discussion, talking about having a discussion with industry and with civil libertarians about how we can do this better. I don't have an interest, and the people at the NSA don't have an interest in doing anything other than making sure we can prevent a terrorist attack and be able to carry out that critical test.
Right.
Right, invoke terrorism. No, this is all for terrorism. It's all for terrorism.
But who are the terrorists?
Well, apparently the Tea Party people. Who did Janet Napolitano? Didn't she have a nice little list of people that are potential terrorists, Blake? Do you remember who was on that list?
People with Ron Paul bumper stickers and, Tea Party. Anybody who's pro-Second Amendment? I don't know. Yeah. Anybody who talks about the Constitution or freedom. So you got to be careful about those buzzwords.
The president said, "What you're not reading about is the government actually abusing these programs." Yeah, no. I think that the mere point that you're snooping on everybody, I mean, it's assumed that your email and telephone conversations are private. That if you write a letter and send it to somebody, you're not broadcasting it on the radio. Now, I would be a fool to assume that when I'm doing a radio show, Blake, and I'm posting these articles at thenewamericanmedia.com and sending them out on Twitter at American_media_, or putting them on Facebook at the New American Media, that those would be private. I'm making them public. I am not sending an email to the world. By the way, I'd like to carbon copy. Let me CC the world on this one. I want to CC government. I want the government to know this. I'm gonna blind carbon copy them though. Yeah, that's great. So, Blake, I got to move to another topic. This is absolutely
Can I leave you with one final quote from Lefty Bollocks, another little sarcasm
Please.
from President Obama?
Yes.
I would never abuse government power to target Americans unless you use extremist rhetoric like freedom or Constitution. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm good.
You're not going to do that in an Obama voice? Can you do...
No, you do it much better, Obama. Go ahead.
I'm working on it. Anyway, let's do this. I want to bounce because I do want to wrap up a couple things. We're running short on time. But this, to me, is the biggest story going on. This is so infuriating. If I don't carbon copy the world or government specifically on an email, it is none of their damn business what I'm doing. And it is creepy that the government wants to do it. It would be creepy if my neighbor was hacking into my computer to read everything Just think if your creepy neighbor was the one reading all your stuff. Just assume that's what Big Brother is. Because nobody should be hacking into your life. It's garbage. Well, the era of privacy is dead. No, I disagree with that. I want to talk about Dianne Feinstein for a second. We're going to take a quick reset. Come back on the other side. I want to talk about Feinstein. By the way, make sure you check out Blake's homepage. If you've never been there before, it's eccentricperspective.com, and you can hear him every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday on freedomizerradio.com from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific on Eccentric Perspective. You can sign up for the podcast, search Eccentric Perspective, and follow him on Twitter. He is at Eccentric99. We're going to hit reset here for just a moment. My name is Brian Engelman. This is Agree to Disagree. We're going to be back talking about Dianne Feinstein, maybe this toddler story, maybe parallel construction, the DEA, the NSA setting people up. We'll come back on the other side.
And
Thanks
the
for
IRS.
And the IRS. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. And the IRS. I mean, these are my favorite people. Let's do a parallel construction with all of my favorites and see if we can get something good. But what we're doing now, hit and reset. Just a moment. We'll be right back on the other side.
You are listening to the New American Media.